My name is Aakruti Desai. I'm here with FemExec, and today I'm sitting down with Marcella Kerwin from Bootcamp LA and Happy Healthy Fit Girls. Hi,
Hi there.
how are you?
I'm good, good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, no worries. And could you give the listeners a couple sentences on both of your businesses?
Absolutely. I have currently have two businesses. One is called Bootcamp LA, which is an outdoor fitness program. And it's basically geared at adults who want to get in shape and do it in a beautiful outdoor setting. And it's created for all levels of fitness. So it can be for somebody who hasn't been working out in a long time, who wants to start getting back into shape, or it could be for people who actually have been working out for a long time. So they can be at different levels of fitness to join that program. And it's geared at all levels of fitness and basically covers stretching, lifting weights, and doing cardio all within 1 hour. So we try to make it concise so you get everything you need in that hour at boot camp. And it's called Bootcamp LA. And then the other one is called Happy Healthy Fit Girls. And that's more of an online program, basically geared at women and executive women who are too busy in their lives to find time to work out. So creating 30-minute workouts, trying to make it easier for busy women to get in shape and to get healthy tips. So that's basically the focus on that one.
Okay, great. So both of your businesses are geared towards health and fitness. So I was wondering why you got into in that industry in particular.
Gosh, yeah, that's a good question. And when I think about it, I have to actually go back to when I was very little. I actually grew up with three older brothers, and we lived out in a country area and where there weren't a lot of people around, actually. So they were my playmates, and they were all into sports. So I grew up playing sports. And kind of a funny story on that, when I would go on dates later in life, my mom would say, please, if it was a sporting event, please let the boys win. Give them a chance. She was just like, she knew they'd never call me again if we were playing sports. But I've been trained by athletes because my brothers were all athletes and always involved in all kinds of team sports, which I love. So that's kind of stayed with me throughout life. And I tried to go in other directions, but then I kept getting veered back into the direction of the health and fitness arena. And I worked for the American Heart Association as one of my first real jobs. And that was promoting heart health awareness and working on different projects with them. So it all kind of fell into place.
Oh, great. And is health and fitness what you ended up studying in college? Because I got a lot of listeners kind of having that assumption that you have to study what you want to do in life in college, but a lot of women that I interview, that's not always the case.
As is in this case. I basically was going to become an attorney.
Oh.
Yes, God bless all attorneys out there because my heart is with you. After I went through college and I studied a lot of criminal justice, and I loved studying that whole area of education. However, when I came out to, I grew up in another state, but then I moved to Los Angeles and I started to work for a law firm for a summer as an internship. And it was that summer that I realized I wasn't going to be going back home to law school. It was a very eye-opening experience and I enjoyed it. It taught me a lot, but the main thing it taught me was that's not the direction I'm going to pursue. So I ended up staying here in Los Angeles, and that's when I took the job with the American Heart Association, which was definitely more in alignment with what I was passionate with, and where actually, no pun intended, but where my heart wanted to be, and that was helping people.
So I know that the boot camp and your Happy Healthy Fit Girls, that requires like a whole fitness curriculum. So how is the process of creating that? How is the process of getting it out there? Because there are like now there's so many like free spaces to get all this like fitness material, especially on YouTube.
Mhm.
So how do you compete with that, and how do you make sure that your curriculum, your workouts, like continue to bring more people back to you?
Okay, great questions. And there's a lot of them in there,
I know.
but I will start. Um, So as far as the program itself and the way it was designed is at first, honestly, we thought when, let's create this program and even just trying to come up with the idea of what the program was going to involve was one, we set a vision statement of what we wanted to accomplish. And we said, we want to reach people. We want to create an environment that is fun, engaging, where people could meet other people, because I don't know if you have experienced this yourself, but if you go to the gym and work out, you're by yourself, and it's kind of, or if you take a friend, that's a situation where you do have some kind of camaraderie going on there. So we wanted to create something a little bit different, because people weren't connecting. And I was living here from out of state and didn't know a lot of people. And so I wanted the boot camp to be a place where people from the community could get to know each other. So it wasn't going to be just, it was going to be more than just a workout. So in designing the actual curriculum, now that was an interesting one too, because at first I thought, well, people will just come for a month and do a month of training, and then it can be repeated again. Well, no, they kept coming back, which is a beautiful thing. So all of a sudden it became a boot camp for me because I had to redesign the workouts to keep it interesting, to keep it fun, and to make it a place where people could come and get a great workout and feel really good about themselves. So some people have been with us for 12 years now. Since we first started, they are still in the program. So as far as the competition, I really have never focused on that so much. I've kind of stayed in my own lane. And I think because of the service that we now provide, or that we've always provided, of staying in touch with people, making it more than just a workout, has served us. And people keep coming back. And we have always been mostly word of mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have not paid a lot for advertising. I don't worry like who's swimming out there in the other lanes. A good friend of mine is an author, and he talks about that. John Livesay, he's an author about, how to sell yourself with passion and stay in your own lane and not focus, because the minute you start looking at everything else that's going out there, you've lost time that you can put into your own program and focus.
All right. And as far as I know that you have a really, really busy like weekday workday schedule with boot camp and Happy Healthy Fit Girl. So can you give us like your daily schedule or daily routine, a typical day running both businesses?
Okay, great. That's another great question. Well, I actually really believe in living what I'm preaching, so to speak. And so I do work out on my own. Or now, one thing that's happened since the pandemic has set in is that we have pivoted and we have offered online classes through Zoom for the boot camp. And it's going really great. So what's happening now, and my partner now is my husband, and he leads the classes with his voice and all, and I am doing the examples. So I'm getting to work out through that. So that takes care of that. And I love that. We're having a great time with that. It's something that we haven't done in the past because we've always been a live program. So now that we're doing that, it's been really great. It's a whole new arena for us that we will keep going after, we all get back in action again. So I do that, and then I take some time for myself, of some quiet, just to focus. And I usually try and set the top 3 things I want to accomplish
Oh,
in a day, and set my mindset. And I also try not to beat myself up if I don't get it done, because sometimes you can't anticipate what's going to come your way. Someone may call, you have a need that needs to be taken care of. So it takes you off path. But if I set those 3 things that I want to accomplish each day, I usually get through them, and I can feel really good by the end of the night. So it's usually a lot on the computer. I used to personal train one-on-one. I'm doing that somewhat, but not as much as I used to because I'm focusing more on the marketing of the business and also the promotions and I'm creating a new program online for women that'll be training online, live training. So a lot of stuff juggling, but some way, somehow, make it happen.
Oh, great. I like that the pandemic actually brought like a new aspect to your business. Do you think you have plans for expansion in the future? Maybe even getting not only people in LA, but other people and forming like a virtual community?
And that is perfect because that's exactly what has happened.
Oh,
Yes, we have people who are participating from Vietnam, from different countries. It is just from India. It's just wonderful. They're all on different time zones. So some of them are working out really late at night when we're here doing it at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning. But it's just really been incredible. And we plan to keep it going because we are finding that there is an interest. So it's open up the doors for us and our eyes because we really haven't been in front of the camera much.
uh-huh.
We've been live. We want to, make a difference in people's lives directly, but we are finding that this is a possibility to do that through live online classes.
Awesome. And I know that everyone who starts a business, it's really to follow their own passion. So in your case, your passion is fitness and healthiness, but it also comes with all the weight of actually starting and handling a business. So I know every entrepreneur has the little like things that they just don't want to do that comes with the upkeep of a business. So do you have any of those little like things that bother you sometimes?
Oh gosh. I would think it would have to be with all the paperwork.
Yeah.
Definitely the paperwork. And you do find an honest truth is that when you do run your own business, you are wearing multiple hats, and all of a sudden you have to become educated in different areas to be successful. But for me, it would definitely be the paperwork and the accounting. I'd rather be out there just doing and, letting somebody else take care of that. But it's important that you do keep your eye on that as well, because that is part of your business. You're putting your time in, and you need to value yourself and value your company to keep an eye on the paperwork, meaning the accounting,
Mhm.
and keeping track of things. But yes, it's fun. I learned a lot of things. I learned how to create our own website. The more you can learn and the more that you can actually do yourself, the better, because you will just feel better about things in general. Because when you hire somebody, and there's nothing wrong with hiring people to do the work, but you have more control over it coming out the way you want it to,
Right,
your vision. You
right.
can see your vision come to fruition.
Okay. And I also like to ask a lot of entrepreneurs this, have you ever come close to like almost quitting? Because I know there's a lot of pull factors of just working for somebody else and just having like a regular job.
Honestly, I have not. When we first started the business, though, I was laughing because I was thinking about, how they have search engines on the computer when you're like, this whole SEO. I was like, when we first started our business, or, when I got out there, I was a search engine. We went door to door, dropped off flyers. The first time we had only 4 people show up, and so we said, we're committed. We're going to do this for 4 people for a month. And we did it. And so all of a sudden they started to tell other people, and it started to grow. But as far as actually quitting, no, we weren't sure what we were going to do with the COVID situation. And if anything, it just enhanced what we do even more so. And we have asked our question, and I mention we because my business is now with my husband as well, which is so wonderful, by the way. If you have similar interests to create something together, it's really good to have support like that. But we said, when do we stop doing this? Would we ever quit? And we said, when we stop having fun. And we haven't stopped having fun yet. So
That's a great way to look at your job. It's not a job, it's having fun.
exactly. And
Oh,
I would like to throw this in there too. When you first start, um, I would say just save when you start making some money, save your money. Don't start spending it right away. I never forget when we first started out, I was just like so excited. We didn't have really a TV. We had a little TV. And so we went and got this huge big screen TV. In my heart, I knew we couldn't really afford it at the time. I was like, what are we doing? We just started the business with the 4 people. Like, let's celebrate, get a big TV. Well, I actually canceled the TV. I said, we really need to save our money. The guys didn't get the cancellation. They came to deliver it. It was at my house, and I still turned it away because I knew in my heart, the time would come when we feel really good about this purchase and not buying and still owing. So in the beginning, we saved as much money as we can and just kept putting away and kept living on the income that we had been making. And then anything we made on top, just kept trying to save that, kept trying to save that. And that is one of the things that I think has really been one of the things that I'm most proud of when I look back at my life, that I was reasonable in spending.
That's really, really smart. And I know everyone has that like feeling of just celebrating their achievements, but it's
Yeah. So I was like,
yeah. And so you say that you started boot camp around 12 years ago. So if you could go back to the Marcella 12 years ago, what would you tell her? You clearly have gained a lot of experience in that time.
Oh, yes. I would say, I would tell little Marcella, I would tell her to have more faith, definitely have more faith, because the things that I worried about, it's so true. Most of them didn't come true. And, in most things throughout life, I would say have faith, especially if there's a problem that arises, to go with faith more than worry. And there's so many ways out there to a problem is really just a decision that needs to be made, and you have to think it through and maybe come up and look at the pluses and the minuses and kind of put a little bit of science behind it, a little bit of like, let's, instead of just worrying about problems, I was the what if queen. What if, I was like, what if this, what if, and I finally had to get over that because it wasn't serving me. It's good to have a plan B and in certain cases, but not for everything. I'd have plan B, C, D, and then, just be exhausting. So I would say worry less. I would also say to find your voice. Anybody who's working for a company or trying to start their own business, I would say finding your voice is really key. And if you're in a company and you're not necessarily passionate about it, I would say maybe to try to find the things that you are passionate about the job and focus on those things. And then of course, if you're really not passionate about it, then it's up to you to maybe start finding what you're passionate about. But the thing with that is that if you find your voice, and you're able to talk with people who might be able to make changes within your company, then you might be in the right place after all and not necessarily have to move around. But the thing is to not talk with others necessarily who can't make a difference. I mean, maybe with your family, they can give you some tips, but if you're talking with people in the company about, this is terrible, and you're all just stewing, then you're just getting built up. But if you stay in a calm state and think, okay, how can I change this? I'm going to go talk to my supervisor and say, this isn't working. We're getting killed. We have no time to take a break for ourselves or, we have to go to the dry cleaner. I'm having to go after hours. Is there something we can do to maybe integrate this where, along the way, it's okay to stop and pick up my dry cleaning if that's the case, some way to make life better within the company that you're with. And for your own business, you just have to self-talk.
Yeah.
And say, okay, I'm going to have to just worry less or make some time for myself and have your own meeting with yourself. I have a lot of those meetings.
Oh. And for my final question, I wanted to ask how, you talked about how your business has responded to the pandemic, but I wanted to know how you as a business owner and teacher is responding to it, because I know a lot of where your energy and everything comes from is really that interpersonal connection that you have with all the people that come with you. So have you found that you've been able to achieve similar results with the virtual thing And I was just wondering, like, as a teacher, like, are you excited to get back and see all these people in person?
Yes. Well, I am excited to see everybody again, but I will tell you the Zoom workouts have been just amazing. And one thing that's really helped us is we always ask for feedback. And so we tell our participants, if there's something that you want to see more of, or if we're, not making the workouts hard enough or too hard, let us know. And so they're able, we give our cell phone number for them to text us. So we're constantly getting feedback. With starting out back outside again at the park, we're very excited about that, but that's going to bring some new challenges.
Right.
And the what if queen, of course, shows up. And let me tell you, sometimes she can serve you in many ways, but in others, you just have to kind of know the balance. But it's just, as far as we're going to make sure that we are social distancing, which we're going to be able to do because we're in a wide open space. In Los Angeles, we're still wearing masks, so we're going to have to figure that out. We used to go on a warm-up jog as a group. We probably won't be doing that, and maybe substituting calisthenics. But we are also finding that we're getting a big interest from new people because people are wanting to be outdoors and aren't comfortable yet going back into the gym. So we're anticipating actually a growth as a result of the pandemic and people coming.
Great. All right. Thank you so much for doing this.
It's been a pleasure. I'm so happy to be here, and I hope that I was able to share some helpful tips. And I'm just really proud of you and all that you've accomplished.
Thank you. And where can our listeners find you and your businesses?
Oh, thank you for asking. So bootcampla.com. And once again, now, wherever you are, you can participate and be a part of the program. And we are also, always giving healthy tips. We have a Facebook page called Bootcamp LA. Happy to have you join there as well. And Happy Healthy Fit Girls is another website that we have. And, you can always email me at info@bootcampla.com. And that will be me responding. So I'd love to hear from you, and, look forward to being of service in any way I can to any of your listeners.
All right. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.